Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the Tome of Heroes, a dense book by Kobold Press that added so much to the game of D&D 5th edition. Races, subclasses, new mechanics, all sorts of things. And today we're beginning our journey into the depth of subclasses that were added to this book, and there's a lot. I was going through the list of all the different subclasses, and just reading through the first selection, the Barbarian subclasses, there are 7 in this book. That's almost as many as the official D&D content. They add a lot. Today we're talking about the first one, the Path of Booming Magnificence. The idea behind this Barbarian subclass is that you kind of channel your inner lion or tiger and you roar in battle, causing several different effects. We'll get into the details of the subclass in just a moment, but before we do, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there below the video next to the subscribe button. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine. Just liking, subscribing, heck, just watching the video at all is a wonderful way to support me. So thank you for being here and watching my content here on YouTube. So Barbarians choose their subclass at level 3, and when you choose the Path of Booming Magnificence, you get a couple things. First, you get the Roar of Defiance. When you enter your rage, you get to roar as part of the same bonus action. You'll notice a lot of roaring in this one. As part of the same bonus action you use to enter the rage, you can target creatures and they have disadvantage on any attack that goes against your allies. So basically, they have to attack you or suffer disadvantage until the start of your next turn. So the first round of combat, you can make everyone focus on you, which is nice. You also get a reaction-based shout. Basically, if a creature does damage to you, you can use your reaction to shout at them, forcing them to make a Constitution saving throw. And if they fail, they take 1d6 thunder damage. This scales up later on to 2d6. The trick is that you can only do this against a specific creature one time. Like, there's no limit baked into this. Like, you can do this every turn if a different creature attacks you. So if you don't mind scattering your shouts around at different enemies, that's fine. It's just a shame you can't continuously use your reaction against, like, a boss or something. That's a weird little caveat. Also, and this is something that is going to be continuing throughout the subclass, the saving throw for that con save is based on your charisma modifier. Yes, this is a charisma-based barbarian, which sounds cool in the sense that, you know, you can be charming and inspiring, but it also means you become much more multiple ability score dependent. You're already going to want to have your strength and constitution as high as possible. Your dex is going to want to be pretty high, and so having your charisma high as well means you're going to be sacrificing elsewhere. It's still not a terrible feature. I can definitely see situations when I'd be using it. That, entering rage roar is certainly nice. I'm going to give this feature 7 out of 10. It's not the worst thing. It works. It's just not going to work as well as you hope. And moving on from that, you also have the running leap power. During your rage, you can jump up to your strength score, which means you've got an increased jump, and if you do a run-up, you can actually double that. The trick with the jumping mechanics in D&D is that they're really, really strange. Jumping mechanics state that when you jump, you have to use movement speed to do it. So if you're a barbarian with a strength score of 20, you can't run 20 feet and then jump another 20 feet, or actually I guess it would be 40 because you have a run-up, theoretically moving 60 feet. If your movement speed's only 30 or 40 feet, you can't do that because jumping uses movement. It doesn't bypass that. And that's unfortunate. It would be nice if this bypass the normal jumping rules and let you cover, 20 feet run up, 40 feet of jump, 60 feet of movement, right? That'd be awesome, but it doesn't work like that. It's still cool that you can jump, and this doesn't specify horizontal or vertical, so you can jump pretty high. I still think that it's a 7 out of 10 feature. It'll come up sometimes, you have to clear a gap or jump over a hazard of some kind, so it's okay. Then at level 6, you get the Lion's Glory feature. This says that once per day, when you rage, so this cannot recharge on a short rest, you have to do this one time, you can add your rage damage to the allies that are also making melee attacks. So you choose a number of allies, it's based on your charisma modifier, and you grant your rage damage bonus, which is usually between 2 and 4 damage per hit. So it's a nice little buff to damage, and you add it to your allies. Now, this is great if you've got a fighter, a melee ranger, maybe a rogue or a paladin, someone else who's fighting next to you. A monk, this would be amazing. The problem is that it only works on melee attacks. If you've got a range-based combatant or a spellcaster in your party, this isn't going to really benefit them much. So this is good depending on your party. I'd like it if you could just do this whenever you rage, because you only get a couple rages per day anyway. But it is just once per day that you can do this, so I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Very strong in very specific situations. Then at level 10, you get the Resonant Bellow. You can use your bonus action, and this doesn't have to be done during rage, it can be whenever, to roar, ending fear effects on you and your allies. Also, any creature that has its fear effect ended, this includes you, gains temporary hit points. It's equal to a d12 plus your charisma modifier again. So once again, this is based on charisma, but still, it gives some temporary hit points for creatures that lose the fear effect, and it is an automatic loss. There's no saving throw involved. You can only do this once per rest, so it's a short rest-based thing. It's definitely going to come in handy in the situations when you've got a fear-based enemy. The temp hit points are pretty low for level 10, but it's something. Again, I think this is one of those circumstantial, it's going to be nice when it's nice, and if creatures aren't afraid, like if you've got a paladin in the party with an aura of courage, this isn't going to do anything because it doesn't grant temp HP unless you lose fear. I'd like it if it just granted the temp HP and lost the fear, but here we are. So I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. Finally, at level 14, you get the Victorious Roar. While you're fighting, if you hit a creature with 2 attacks, so specifically your extra attack or a bonus action or whatever, actually it can't be a bonus action, if you land both of your attacks, you can use your bonus action to do another roar. The roar forces a wisdom save against a specific creature you target, which again, the DC is based on your charisma. If they fail, you do your level in damage, so at this level that would be 14 extra damage, and cause them to be afraid until the end of their next turn. So it is a little bit of damage and a forced fear effect against a wisdom save based on your charisma modifier. However, there is no limitation to this. As long as you land 2 simultaneous attacks, you can use your bonus action to do this. So it's effectively a free fear effect. And if you have worked on your charisma, then you'll have a decent save DC. It's a wisdom save, so that's all right. And yeah, again, the only prerequisite is that you have to land attacks, which you want to be doing as a barbarian with reckless attack over and over again. Especially if you use this to target the creature you're fighting, which you can do, and you can target the same creature over and over if you want to. This would rob them of their advantage. If you're reckless attacking, you attack with advantage, and you grant your enemy advantage against you. But if your bonus action roar lands, then they're afraid of you, and their attacks have disadvantage, which cancels out the advantage. So there's a lot of good mechanics here. It's a shame that it takes your bonus action, because I can think of other things I'd like to use my bonus action for, but here we are. And the extra damage is fine. I'd say this is 8 out of 10. It's handy, it's good. The only downside is the charisma modifier. Honestly, that's the downside of this whole subclass. It constantly demands your charisma go up. Everything that boosts your temp HP, all the saving throws, all of the powers you grant to your allies are based on your charisma modifier. What are you giving up? Are you hitting less hard because your strength is down? Are you taking less damage because your constitution is down? Is your armor class going to suffer because your dexterity is down? Like, what's going to suffer here? And I think that it's a real shame that they couldn't base this on your constitution or your strength or something that barbarians want to have. Like, I see the ideas here. I love the theme, but mechanically, it just doesn't add up. Even if you completely scrap your dexterity, then your charisma is going to be, what, a 14 maybe? And if you are pumping it instead of your strength, then you're not going to be scaling with your regular attacks. It demands that you change your playstyle. And yeah, I'm going to give the whole subclass a 7 out of 10. I love, like I said, I love the theme. I love the imagery. The whole idea is a great idea. It just isn't implemented very well within the mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons. And I think you'll find yourself either disappointed with your standard barbarian fighting or with your performance in this subclass. So it's a shame that they make you pick. Still, if you like the theme, it's not broken bad. It's just going to make you choose something that isn't typical to Barbarian. So if that's fine with you, go for it. Talk with your DM, because the Tome of Heroes is a great place to find these kind of things. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, as well as a link that I'll leave to the Tome of Heroes. A fantastic third-party book written by Kobold Press, and I highly recommend you check it out for yourself. Have a good one, my friends.